Next one. See, my philosophy with this is really, really simple. I got my website right here, and I want to get my article out on as many different sites as I can. And if I can get, say, on 500 sites, what are the chances of me getting a click if it's a decent article, keyword specific, well written, good resource box? What are the chances of me getting one click per month from each of those websites? The chances of me getting one click in a 24 times 30 is 720 hours. Once every 720 hours, some live being will find, on average, that article on each one of those sites. That's 500 clicks a month. That's 6,000 clicks a year. Okay? Now, what if I'm only 25% right? In other words, I'm having even crappier results than that. What if I'm only 25% right? So instead of 6,000 clicks, this is when the light bulb went off for me. We divide that by 4. That's 1,500 clicks a year. All right, 1,500 clicks a year. What if I'm only actually, what if it's even worse? What if I'm only 10% right? Okay? If I'm only 10% right, that means I'm only going to get 600 clicks per year from that article. That's like 2 clicks a day. But what if I do an article every week for 50 weeks? I take 2 weeks off. Well, then that's 600 times 50. That's 30,000 clicks. Okay? Or no, that's not 30,000. It's 30,000 clicks. And if I can make, let's say, a 2% conversion rate off those 30,000, that's 600 extra sales a year. I'm just playing the numbers. I'm not worried about showing up number one. I'm not worried about, and I mean, I've really downplayed this too. I mean, that's saying that it's really bad. Let's say it is really bad. Would you be happy writing one article a week and getting an extra 600 sales a year? And most of you would say, sure. Some would say, well, no, I don't want to do that. That's fine. Then don't do it. This is just one of many different traffic strategies. The point is, it's a numbers game. And the way you use the numbers game to your advantage is to write a good article and to get yourself in as many spots as possible so that when people do find your article and they read it and they see that it wasn't written in a foreign sweatshop, no offense, foreigners, and it actually makes sense and leads to other good information, then they're going to be really happy, because all the crappy sweatshop articles provide major contrast to a really good article. So that's why I don't worry about it. This is literally my thought process with it. I've never said anything about using articles to show up on page 1 or page 2 of the search engines. I've never talked about backlinks or keyword placement or using keywords in your article's resource box to help your website come up number 1 or number 2. Never talked about it. Never claimed it. All I've ever talked about is publishing an article once a week, putting it out there, and letting the cards fall where they may and just playing the numbers game. That's my philosophy. And so I'll just say it straight. Most of the stuff that people are teaching about article marketing is complete bullshit. And they get lucky once or twice, and then they want to sell you software or some other kit or some other thing about it, and it's a load of crap. This is how it really works. For every person that's using articles to come up number 1 for some phrase or something like that, there's 1,000 that won't or can't. And so I don't even bother trying to teach that. I teach the lowest common denominator when it comes to doing articles, and it works. But you got to work it. It's like the stone cutter. You just keep whacking on that stone with a sledgehammer, and one of these will pop. One of these will give you 5,000 visitors, and a lot of them will give you 10. But you play the averages. Okay, there you go. And all the stuff is just so overwhelming for me to do. It just seems like a straight-up good guy marketer doesn't have a chance anymore. I would tell you that you do have a chance, because there is so much junk out there. When people do find somebody who's honest, when people do find somebody who is authentic, when people do find somebody who can write decently, carry a thought, not carry a tune, but carry a thought, then they pay attention. It might take longer now than it used to, but the principles are still the same. And all the junk out there, you will eventually float to the top, but you do have to proactively try to build some relationships with people who do have other people's ears. So I would tell you that it might be a little harder, but it's still just as worth it. And once you do break through, you're actually in a more unassailable, if that's a word, position. So I hope that helps.